Let's do it.
The couch makes us pop.
Right.
You see?
Yeah.
Is that comfy?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Oh my gosh, this is exciting.
Pam. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm great, thanks. How are you?
I'm world class. I'm just gonna move the mic. World class. What was your affirmation from the other day? I am
magnetic, radiant, and gifted.
magnetic, radiant, and gifted.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that so meaningful to you?
That's a very good question. I think for me, being magnetic is being unapologetically yourself. And I think that is something that I try to work on every single day. Radiance to me feels like inner glow and allowing yourself to really be present. And gifted is really going into my power as a therapist, but also as a healer that likes to create safe places for people.
And why is that important to you? Why do you want to create safe places for people in this? Because the reason I ask this specific question is because you're very passionate about getting people out of therapy. It's not about having a client and seeing them for 10 years. It's about okay, you're here, but how do we get you out as fast as possible?
Yeah. Look, I think the reason why that's important to me is because there's a lot of misunderstanding around what therapy is, and I think that to be able to change the paradigm and to be able to install hope into people's recovery, that it doesn't have to take you 10 years to start truly fully living your whole self-healing. Yeah, so just really coming back to the belief that healing is possible and it doesn't have to take a very, very long time, as long as we're doing it the right way, which is integrating the mind, the body, and the heart.
And how did you come to this conclusion? Is it because you saw it happen in other people? Did you go through something yourself? How did you reach this firm belief?
Well, to give you a little bit of background, I've been in the mental health space for 10 years now. So I've seen a lot of, different ways of doing things and practices and interventions and, people having different schools of thought. And one of the things that I realized was I had to come back into my own healing, and I had to go through the journey that I wanted my clients to have. And that's when it started for me, and that's when I really dived deep into grief and the grief that I had been carrying for so long, that I realized talk therapy was just not enough. Working on my mindset was just not enough. And I see a lot of people around me and through the years that have invested thousands and thousands of dollars improving their mindset to still feel incomplete, to still feel like their nervous system is hijacking them. And I live that myself. So what I realized is, okay, so the mind is important, but the body is equally as important. And that's when I started to dive into somatic healing, EMDR therapy, and that's when I really started to see a shift. And thirdly, then I started to realize, okay, well, the mind's integrated, the body's integrated, but we're missing the most important ingredient, which is the heart. The heart is really coming back to your authentic self, coming back to who you were destined to be, not who you thought you had to be. And it's really about releasing the limiting beliefs that you've been carrying and holding on to. So when you integrate the mind, the body, and the heart, that's when you have whole self-healing.
I love that. I think that's why we connected instantly, so fast at Dreamfest, is because we're doing our own version of the same thing. You're working with women, I'm working with not just men at the moment. I would love to be in a position where I'm working a lot with men because I feel like they really need it. And and it's a lot of fun, but it's so true. It's so true, because talk therapy, like, it serves such an amazing purpose. Being able to talk about what's going on and having space to get the words out is priceless. But then also understanding that if you're doing that and you don't feel the shift, that doesn't mean that anything is wrong with you. It just means that we're not doing the whole pie. And so talk to me about the somatic stuff. What has been really transformational for you from the body work, the somatic stuff?
Well, I think the most important thing for me was firstly realizing how disconnected I was from my body, because from a young age, you know, my background is I'm a migrant, and we migrated to Australia when I was 8. So a lot of my growing up was done very quickly, very fast, not being able to be that playful child. I had to be very responsible. I remember having to cook, I think at the age of 9, and make sure dinner was ready, because my mum would be out working 15-hour days for us to get by. So a lot of my own somatic healing was realizing firstly how disconnected I was from my body, and secondly coming back to everything that we suppress lives in our body. So all of the grief, all of the sadness, everything was being represented in my body through illness. So it was really about coming back to, how do I connect with my body? How do I release all these suppressed emotions? And when I started to do somatic healing, that's when I started to really start feeling what my body needed all this time, which was safety. Safety to feel.
Talk to me more about how it's in the body. Like, talk to me more about that from the perspective of a therapist. And
Yeah. So when I refer to somatic, we obviously mean the body. And when we're talking about emotional suppression, is understanding that every emotion has a different home in the body. So for example, personally, one of the things that I've always struggled with has been self-expression, and it's been that knot in my throat, you know, that knot that just doesn't let me get the words out. And you can almost somatically feel it. Like, you can feel when you've got like this tennis ball stuck in your throat, when you're not able to say the words that you want to say out loud, or when you feel that heavy sensation in your stomach when you're carrying a lot of grief that is just penetrating in your abdominal, or even when you know, have that shoulder pain, when you're really just carrying a lot of stress and your body is signaling, hey, I'm struggling. But we override that. We override those signals.
It's so true. It's so true, because unfortunately, it's like we live in a culture where we treat the symptoms and not the cause. And the methods that are common for treating symptoms isn't the thing that is going to deal with the cause. Like, it just sort of puts a band-aid on it.
Yes, definitely. And I think that's what I saw a lot of as a therapist, and as a human that was wanting to heal and break generational patterns. I remember, you know, I guess, like I said before, I've been in this space for 10 years. I've got 2 degrees behind me, over 20 courses in positive psychology and whatnot. And all of that was still not enough. You know, that all of that knowledge was still not enough, because it was all about understanding the symptom, but it wasn't about understanding the root. And it was through years of self-discovery that I realized the root to my presentation and my struggle dated back when I was 3 years old. It dated the time that my dad passed away. And it left me that, you know, unconscious limiting belief that I was hard to love, that the people that I love abandoned me, that I was not good enough to be loved. And that showed in everything that I did, because then I became what we now call a perfectionist. You know, that act of survival masked through achievements.
Wow. I think so many people can relate to what you just said. So many people can relate to that because they don't like it's just not common. It's not common, and people think that there's something. It's common for people to believe that there's something wrong with them because what they have been grown up to believe can help them. Like it's brave. For some people, it's already like you've got to be brave to go to therapy. It's like that's like the fact that they're going to therapy might trigger something that there's wrong with them, and then they get into it, and then it doesn't work because it's not the whole picture. And then it like confirms that belief that there's something wrong with it.
Yes. Oh my goodness. You literally just hit home because, like I said before, I didn't realize I burnt out when I did. And I held so much shame, right? So this is going back when I was 28. I burned out as a mental health therapist. And the shame that I carried because of that, I was like, how did I get myself here when I'm supposed to be holding space for everyone else not to get to this place? So for me, as a therapist, going to therapy, it was one of the bravest things I had to do. And when I did do it, it was the most dismissive experience I've ever had. Because firstly, the therapist at the time, I don't know what it is about therapists seeing other therapists. I think she just felt perhaps a little bit intimidated. I don't know what it was. But I just remember walking out of that room and I was like, firstly, what is wrong with me that I have to even be here? And secondly, she did not get me. And that experience has really helped me to create Beyond Purpose Therapy, because Beyond Purpose Therapy is about making sure that all my clients who walk through that door feel seen, feel understood, feel safe, and most importantly, feel like their story matters.
Is that what your business is called? Beyond Purpose Therapy? That is such a cool name.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's a cracker. Wow, yeah. Okay, awesome. Yeah, no, it's so true. Like I can relate to that so hard. Like I went to a psychologist, counselor, and I was like, I feel worse. Like I'd finish and I'm like, I feel worse and I've got less money. Like fuck. Like what the hell?
Yeah.
But then talk to me about the first somatic experience you had. Like the first experience outside of talk therapy that made you go, holy shit, like this is the path I need to go down.
So it actually happened in a training. In a training that I was doing. So when I decided to...
Just quickly, I forgot to do this at the start. We're just going to set an intention really quick. I should have done this before we started. But just chill for a second. And I just want you to close your eyes. Breathe through your nose into your stomach. And let it go. Inhale through your nose into your stomach. Fill your stomach up. Gently let it go. Relax your jaw, relax your shoulders. Last one, fill yourself up more than the last two. Slowly. One more sniff. Hold and let it go. Whatever feels right to you, set an intention. Feel free to ask for guidance. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Okay, we're back.
That was very beautiful.
So your first experience from the somatic side of things, it was at a course, was it?
Yes. So it was when I decided to do EMDR therapy course.
Oh yes, I'm super keen to talk to you more about this because I've heard of this and I know a little bit, but like I know there's so much more to it.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I absolutely rave on about EMDR therapy, because one of the things that we have to do to become qualified is to have our own EMDR experience.
Oh yes.
So when we're doing the training, we're actually experiencing what the client will experience, and that is when things really hit home for me. Because I remember sitting in that training and going through a memory that I had really struggled to get past. And like I said before, talk therapy only scratched the surface. So just to tell you a little bit about EMDR therapy is an 8-phase protocol. So the beautiful thing about that is phase 1 is about understanding the history, understanding what is the presenting issue here. Phase 2 is resourcing and helping people to develop the skills that they need to be able to cope post and during the processing. And phase 3 to 6 is really about integrating. So the thing with EMDR therapy and why it's so powerful, it's because it's working on images that have been essentially stuck in the nervous system. And what it does is it goes and it completes that memory, so that memory is no longer constantly triggering you.
Oh, so you're not in that loop.
Yes.
Yeah, gotcha.
So it's really about completing the process. And because it includes the mind and the body, that's what allows that full circle to take place. So phase 3 to 6, it's really about working with the cognitive belief that was associated to that image, working with the emotions that that image created, and the location in the body of where that memory is stored. So then after phase 6, then we go into phase 7, which is integrating the new positive cognition. And then lastly, phase 8 is really making sure that there's no residual in the body. So it's such a beautiful experience. It's something that I really am very passionate about. And that really has been what has made me feel confident enough to tell clients therapy does not have to take years. Because once we implement EMDR therapy into our approach, the changes that I've seen in my office have just been out of this world. Like I literally can think of so many examples, but I can think of a client in particular that came to me after being in therapy for 35 years.
Wowza.
35 years. And after 3 sessions of EMDR therapy, she said to me, Pam, for the first time in my life, I actually feel like I am safe enough to be loved.
How good's that?
That was just, as a therapist, or for myself as a therapist, my biggest win is to see my clients win. And when I saw that, I was like, okay, EMDR therapy is exactly what we need in the therapy space. This is what really fast tracks recovery.
So what exactly are you doing? Like, how do you do this with a client?
So going back to the phases, so the client will present, we will look at, okay, what is the current presenting issue that they have in this moment? Because, I think there's a lot of misunderstanding about what therapy does and why it takes so long. But it's about understanding, like, every human has layers, right? And we can't cover all the layers in a 50-minute session. But what we can do is focus on what is the current presenting issue right now. What is it that you actually want to work through? What is it that, if we could shift something in your beliefs, can really make significant change for you? So we really look at, okay, what's the presenting issue? So for that client that I referred to earlier, her presenting issue was she just kept self-sabotaging relationships. She kept, starting relationships and then leaving them. Or she would go for unavailable men because she, at her core, didn't believe she was worthy enough to be loved. So that was a presenting issue, and that's what kept her stuck, essentially. So when we sat down, it was about understanding the history, like how long have you been carrying this pattern? How long has this been holding you back? And what do you want to achieve from this? You know, and her goal was essentially just to love herself a little bit more and to allow love to enter her life fully. So then we set, you know, treatment goals, and then we identified EMDR therapy as the go-to. So when we did that, we were able to work on 3 particular memories that were incomplete.
So for example, you this problem, you're like, okay, what is the first memory that is associated to it, or something like that?
Yes.
And then you just go into that.
Yes, because what we do is we have to do a timeline. So what is the timeline of this belief? So if the belief is I'm unlovable, we sit down and we look at, okay, let's look at the timeline. Let's look at the past, the present, and the impact that it's having on your future. And then we identify the core memories that, like I said, have been left unprocessed, or that have been left incomplete. And then we really just go into that memory and complete the memory.
That makes sense. And then so a symptom for like that incomplete memory is if someone is, say, they're walking along the beach and something happened with their partner this morning, and they're walking along the beach and they're just like going over and over and over and over and over, and they've been in that position many times before. So it's like it doesn't, there's not really too much more talking, or you can't think yourself out of that problem, and you might be able to talk to people about it, but then if on a body level, if that trauma, that memory isn't resolved, then it's just going to get triggered again in the future. Exactly right. The way that I like to describe it is our brain is like a filing cabinet. It will literally keep everything. And when you get triggered, and I want our audience to really listen to this part, when you get triggered by something, you're not only experiencing that trigger in the moment, you're also experiencing every other memory that is similar to the brain. And that's why sometimes people say to me, you know, he didn't reply to my text, but my emotional response to that was so out of proportion. And I said, yes, because your brain understands what's happening right now, but it also goes back to every other time that you felt unseen, unheard, rejected. Right? So that's why the emotional load is so heavy. It makes sense. And then because if deep down you believe you're not good enough, and then our brain are like confirmation bias machines. They're always looking for evidence to confirm these beliefs. And so if you don't resolve it, your brain's going to keep collecting evidence. And then it's just like, it's going to be like, oh, see, I told you so. See, you are not good enough. Look, you didn't reply to your fucking text.
Yes, and imagine that lady that I referred to earlier, 35 years of gathering evidence for why she believed that she was not good enough or worthy of love.
Yeah.
So, and this is the beautiful thing that I get to see in my space, how with the right therapy, with the right approach, with the right goals, we can really fast track and help people really step into their authentic self.
100%. And one thing I love about being a human is the yin to that yang. So the downside is downside. I don't even want to say downside, because I truly believe that we can morph everything into a positive, and we can turn it into a gift. But when you look at it, it's like the negative side of it is that you're gathering evidence and you're reliving all of these negative emotions. However, it works in the positive side as well, because if your body is going to take you back through all of these memories, feel as though it's already happening, and collecting all of this evidence, that's the same concept with manifestation and visualization, except instead of it being negative in the past, it's positive and in the future. And then so it gives people real, something tangible, because it's like they've literally had an experience where they've become triggered over something that seems small, but there's an overwhelming reaction in their body. So then that means it's absolutely possible for them to, once they've resolved that, they can start to put that energy into the future. Start to meditate, start to visualize, and then you start to train your body that all of these amazing things have already happened. And then it's just like, it's a completely different game then.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And that's why integration is so important.
Let's talk about integration, Pam. This has been something, when I think about me and my own journey, I became a pro at learning, at going to courses, at learning all of the things. But then integration time came around. Sometimes I'd get triggered by like a few things all at once, and then it's like all my fucking training went out the window. It's like I can't access it. And why? Because one of the pieces that was missing was integration.
Yeah, and this is why, like I said before, it has to be the three parts integrating together. What we learn through the mind, what the body feels when we learn what we learn, and what the heart is willing to accept. Yeah. So this is why integrating those three parts is so essential, because then you can fully embody that, and then you can really live in alignment with your values. But if there's something there that is not integrating, it's just going to hijack you. And like you said before, all of the information that your brain is storing is going to be like, nah, this is unsafe. Let's go back to what's familiar. Let's go back to what feels comfortable. So really it's about making sure that those three parts are fully integrated, fully connected. And most importantly, that your body feels safe enough to hold this new belief and this new idea of the future.
So how do people integrate? Like how do you teach your clients to integrate?
Well, it is something to remember, is that it's a journey. It's not a race. Right? And when you come with the expectation that, okay, I'm going to integrate in the next week.
Been there.
I've got something coming for you. It doesn't happen like that. Integration, you might be integrating something you learned 3 months ago. Or you might be integrating it overnight. Right? So it's really allowing the flow of the integration to take place. And one of the things that I tell my clients with EMDR therapy is, you might notice the integration within 24 to 48 hours because the body's still processing. But you may also not feel a difference, and in 3 months' time, suddenly you get that click of, oh, that's what Pam meant by integration. Yeah. And sometimes it's in the little signs. Sometimes it's in the saying no when you've historically always said yes to things. When your shoulders are up straight when you're normally slouching. When you're breathing a little bit, into the belly when a lot of your breath just stayed in your chest. When you feel at peace to do nothing. So it's those little cues that are integration that we might be overlooking.
I used to look at integration as this like massive mountain and was like, bro, like what's the point? Like there's so much. But then one day, and I can't remember exactly what happened to change it, but then I looked at it as a get out of jail free card. And I was like, wait a minute, this takes ages. This takes years. So like the very fact that I just remember that it takes time is like, helps me to realize that it's actually okay. It's actually like, it doesn't have to be solved now because it's impossible to be solved now. It's actually impossible. One of my mentors said to me, how do you eat an elephant? I mean, obviously you're not going to eat an elephant, but if you were going to eat an elephant, how would you eat it? One mouthful at a time. You can't eat an elephant for dinner.
Yeah.
Like you'll get full.
I love that. That's exactly it. That's exactly right. And this is why there is so much negative connotation around, oh, therapy takes so many years. No, it's integration that can take time if you don't have the right approach or the right tools or the right path.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, the heart. Talk to me about the heart. So we've done the talking. We've started to get the words out. Then we've started to do the body stuff and start to integrate. Now, where does the heart come into it?
The beautiful heart. So the heart comes into it because essentially we hold unconsciously or consciously this idea that we always have to put ourselves last. That, and it comes through childhood conditioning where a lot of the people pleasing, self-sacrifice, not being a burden comes in. And that's when really we get disconnected from what the heart wants. Every single time we say yes when we mean no, there's a disconnection from the heart. Every single time that we self-abandon, there's a disconnection from the heart. So why that's important? It's because it's about remembering that you are worthy, like I said to you when we first met, you are worthy of being loved just as you are. You don't have to perform. You don't have to overcompensate. You can just be and exist. So there's a lot of reconditioning that has to take place for the heart to truly believe that. And when it does, it's so beautiful, because this is when I see the magic of what is possible when my clients start integrating the heart, and all of a sudden they have better boundaries, higher standards, self-love, self-compassion, and just so much love for that inner child that lives within them. That's when I know the heart is integrated. When the adult self can really look after that inner child inside.
I love that. We all have a little child inside of us. We have many little childs inside of us. But it's something I love is when I discovered the thing in our brain that I used to think ran our life. Like, we've got all of these neurons in our brain. It's like, turns out we actually have neurons in our heart, and we have neurons in our gut. And especially in the heart, our heart has the most amount of neurons in like an organ in the body. And our heart actually sends 16 times more information to the brain than what the brain sends to the heart. So then what does that mean? It's like the heart has its own intelligence. And if you've been disconnected from your heart, then on some level your heart's not going to trust you, because your heart's trying to tell you, say it, but you're like, no. And then so your heart's like, well, what the why do I even bother?
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. I didn't know that, and that's beautiful to know that, because it really creates this image that the heart their heart holds so much power. Yeah. And it's really about connecting with that significant organ that lives inside of us. The reason why we take every single breath, because our heart is beating. And this comes back to the concept that I said before. Place your hand on your heart and repeat after me. I'm good enough to be loved just as I am. Because if your heart is still beating today, there's a reason why you're here today. So just connect with that. Connect with that beautiful part inside of you.
Exactly. And think, like, when you meet people, like, do you become best friends the very second you meet them? No. Like, you might have an amazing connection, but you got to get to know them regardless. It's the same thing when you're reconnecting to your body. If you've been disconnected to your body for so long, it's like it takes time. And it doesn't have to be a negative thing unless you make it a negative thing. It can be a really positive thing. It can be an experience of like, wow, like, what is going on here? What do I actually love? Like, what is this life that I actually want to live? And then if you can do it from a place of playfulness, then it becomes fun. If you look at it as a big mountain, then it will be a big mountain.
Yeah. And I think that you said something really powerful just then, allowing our inner child to be playful. Really connect to that playfulness inside of us. That for a very long time, if we don't give it the love and the nurturing and the protection and the validation, it can quieten down. You know, I speak from experience when it comes to that. Like I said earlier, I was programmed to become a perfectionist. And when you're constantly in the realm of achieving, you forget to play. And that's something that until this day, I'm still working on. How do I play more? How do I become more playful and more fun? And it's something that can really be challenging and not feel natural when you've been conditioned otherwise. So really allowing yourself to be playful, I feel like that is the biggest sign that you've fully integrated.
Exactly. And it's like that act is the integration. Feeling that fear, but then doing it anyway.
Yeah.
How do you be playful? What are your favourite things to do to be playful, to connect with your inner child?
Well, one of the things I realized, not realized, but I've always known, but one of the things that I'm now going to fully step into is dancing. Because I love bachata dancing. I find that it's such a beautiful rhythm and a beautiful way to move your body. And it's the very thing that actually made me realize how disconnected I was from my body. Because Peachy, I remember getting to bachata lessons, and I'm Latina. I'm a proud Latina that does not know how to dance.
I won't tell anyone.
Every time people look at me, they automatically think I'm like, you know, the world's best salsa dancer. And then when my body moves, they're like, what just happened? And that's the byproduct of being disconnected for so long. So now I'm like, no, I'm fully going to step into my power by reconnecting to my body, by teaching my hips that it's okay to be held and that it's okay to be led. Because being able to do partner dancing is about really being able to surrender, to let go, and to fully trust somebody else. So that's my next mission, to become a confident bachata dancer.
So I love that, and I love the stories that Morgan was telling on the weekend about bachata, because like when you look at the polarity side of things and the masculine feminine, it's like one of the perfect integration exercises for everybody, because the feminine can surrender and the masculine can learn how to lead, but in a playful way. Like, it's just, yeah, I love that. I can't wait to hear more about that. What have you found on this journey so far that helps you to be more playful, that helps you to have more fun?
That's a very good question, and probably one that I have to think more on, because I'm still in my own process of connecting to that playfulness. But I think it's been really about just allowing myself to make mistakes. Allowing myself to let my body move without an agenda, and just really allow myself to be. Just be. And through allowing your body to be, that's when it allows it to truly flow.
I love that. What else have you done on your own journey that you've found to be useful? So you've done talk therapy, you got some positive things out of that, you got a lot of positive stuff out of EMDR. What else have you used yourself, and what have you found benefit in?
So personal development has been a huge thing for me. And my first ever personal development seminar, I don't know if you call it a seminar, but it was Tony Robbins.
No way.
Unleash the Power Within. Yes, that was the most transformational experience I have ever had in my
That was the
life.
first one you went to.
That's the
Wow, he
first
set the
one.
bar pretty high.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yes, and honestly, he became the father figure that I needed for so many years. Just to see how much love and contribution and greatness can come from one person set the standard for me to become that in my therapy space. So personal development, going to unleash the power within, opened the gates for that. And then I did every single program that he has. And Date with Destiny for me was, once again, transformational, because I feel like personal development integrations, immersions, they really almost like rip you open, but also allow you to put yourself together again the way that you want to be. And a lot of people in my community are into personal development. But when I first did my Unleash the Power Within, the people around me did not understand what I was doing. She must be mad. She's going to days that are 12, 13, 14-hour days long. What is she doing? What cult is she in?
Right?
And it was persevering through that. It was persevering and trusting my heart that there was something here for me. And that's the thing with personal development. You've got to really embrace every single experience, because every experience will teach you something. So for me, talk therapy taught me that it was okay for me to be vulnerable. EMDR therapy supported me to connect to my body. Personal development really integrated those two things. But I think what I found most transformational for me was the community that I surrounded myself with. Because you can do so much healing and so much learning and read all the books, but if you don't have a community that is on the same path as you,
100%.
you will always feel like the ugly duckling, the odd one out. So for me, immersion really became about surrendering myself with the people that I truly either wanted to become or already felt like they understood me.
I love that. And the image that comes to my mind when I think about what you just said is like, if you have a fish and the fish is sick, what do you do with the fish? Do you treat the fish, or do you change the water?
You change the water.
Exactly. And I love that. There's not really any much else I could say to that. Like, I can resonate with that so hard, because personal development was the biggest thing for me, because connecting me to that environment. Because you go to these events and it's not like you're really learning a lot of new stuff. Like, you do learn stuff for sure. You learn so much stuff, but then what I love about them is that there's a sense of familiarity with it. I don't know how to say that word, but it's like, oh yeah, like it's not like a foreign concept. It's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Or some of it's like, obviously, but then to be in a position where you can get to expose yourself to it, but then be with other people who are all learning it together, and you're on that journey together. And then you just get to be vulnerable with other people. Like, I think about the Dream Out Loud method this weekend, and that was really big for me, because being vulnerable, like being in the position that I am now, where I have my own business and I help clients and so on and so forth, similar to you, that it's on one hand I could look at it and I could be like, well, no, I don't want to be like, I'm embarrassed about still feeling X, Y, and Z by being in this space. But it's like, no, that's the whole, you're getting it all wrong. Like, no, yeah, you're getting it. It's not going to work. It's like, you got to be vulnerable, because then that's how you grow. To put yourself in front of people and go, this is me. This is me, and I don't give a fuck, because this is me.
Yes.
But then that's the most beautiful thing, because that is the very thing that gets you that result. And that result is feeling good in yourself, but then also gaining the love and the respect from the people around you.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And I think in our space, when we are helping clients, our most important duty is to take the first step. I'm very proud when I go to personal development events like the Dream Out Loud method, because I can normalize to my clients, hey, I'm your therapist, but I'm also a human being. And I feel like that allows them to really feel held by that. Because if my therapist is walking the talk, then I can trust her.
100%.
You know, one of the examples that Morgan always gives us is, would you go to a university professor that's talking to you about how to run a business through a textbook, or would you go to a business mentor that's actually walking the talk? You know?
100%. 100%. Yeah. I don't want to even get into it. I don't want to talk shit about uni because everybody knows the reality of how it is, and it serves massive purposes for sure. Like, we need it. But then it's not the whole pie. It is so not the whole pie. And that's a perfect example. Does your professor who's teaching you business, where did he learn that? Did he learn it at university, or is he a multi-millionaire in his own business? And it's like, you just weigh it up and make a decision based on what you feel. There was another example. Oh yeah, I love when he said this at Dreamfest, and he goes, if you're a coach and you don't have one, then you're a hypocrite. And I loved that. I absolutely loved that, because again, it's so true. It is absolutely so true. And it would make sense, like when I look back on my own journey, I was always really hesitant to get into this space. It took me years to get myself in a point where I was like, okay, I'm actually ready to coach people, because I was my own worst critic. And one of the things that helped push me over the edge was getting a coach, like having a consistent coach, not just like a coach like at a personal development event or you meet up with someone or whatever, but it's like, no, I'm investing in myself and I'm doing this.
Yes, that's exactly it, right? Like, walk the talk, do exactly what you're going to be teaching your clients, and model to them that at the end of the day, putting the labels aside, putting the therapist, the coach, the mentor, all of that aside, we are all human beings, and we are in this world for the very first time, all of us.
You think?
I think. We weren't born with a guide. We weren't born with a book on how to do life. We are all living life for the very first time, in my opinion. So we got to give ourselves credit. Your mum and dad, they didn't live this life prior. They were also learning as, you know, they were going through the motions of life. And just as we are too.
I'm with you, but then because I'm a massive, and we won't get into it, but I'm a big believer in the whole karmic structure. And so, like, on one hand, I believe I've been here many times, but then in terms of like Chris Peachy, like, this is the first time. Like, yeah, so yeah, I can see what you're saying, for sure. But yeah, we don't get taught. Like, we don't get taught, like, unless you're born into a family who have already done the work, which is not many people, because it's just the nature of where the world is right now. And it's...
Yeah, and look, even if you've done the work, even if your parents have done the work, like Morgan said, we children will find a way to still feel like,
oh, for sure,
they've been damaged one way or another.
It's like in our nature. We sort of have to, because without the challenges, how would you have something to overcome? You know, like, I'm sure you would agree, like, looking back on your life, like, as hard as it was at moments, it's like all of these experiences had to happen in the exact way that they did, so that I could sit here and be this exact person that I am right now. Because I wouldn't have the mindset, I wouldn't have the wisdom, I wouldn't have all of these amazing tools and skills if it wasn't for all of the bullshit.
Exactly. That's so beautifully said. That's exactly right. everything makes us who we are today. And who we choose to be as well, because we can make a decision as well. Every single day we wake up and we can make a choice. Am I going to be holding on to the past today, or am I going to find a way to become better today?
I love that. I love that. So take us back, Pam. Take us back to what it was like for you growing up. What are some of the experiences that have made the woman that sits here, and then what was your lessons from those?
Such a powerful question. Well, like I said before, life challenged me for the very first time when I was 3, when the person that I love the most in this entire world suddenly disappeared. For a 3-year-old little brain, we are all trying to make sense of the world. We're making sense machines. And when I was 3, I didn't have the words to describe what I was feeling. I didn't have the words to describe every time I look outside the window and waited for Dad, the agony that I felt when he didn't return. So I think that experience really marked my life because, like I said before, I developed a lot of conditioning around, well, he left because I'm not good enough. He left because I'm too hard to love. He left because I must be a bad person, right? And this was just my 3-year-old little brain trying to make sense of what had just happened. It didn't understand that life had other plans for him and that a natural disaster took him away from me. It wasn't his choice. He loved me from the moment I was born until he took his last breath. So I think that first experience really had a significant impact in my life. And then when we migrated to Australia, so when I was 8 years old, my very, very brave, heroic mum decided to make the life-changing decision that she wanted better for my brother and I. She wanted us to have opportunities that a third world country couldn't offer us. But it was, again, that loss, that grief of leaving your whole family behind, leaving everything that you know behind, your culture, your language, your belongings, everything, and starting fresh again. So at 8, I was like, okay, how do I communicate with the people around me when I don't have the language? So that was another significant experience in my life. And I think after that, seeing my mum come home late every single night really just changed me in a way that I wanted to be better for her. I wanted to make her proud. I wanted her to one day not have to work as hard as she did. So that was a big motivator for me to become what I now call the best at everything. It was also the chains that held me back a lot. Because when we're striving for perfection, it's exhausting, number one, and it's unrealistic because perfection doesn't exist.
I think I used to believe this, but then I come to this belief that imperfection is perfect.
Yes.
That's the get out of jail free card.
Yes.
And so you're perfect already because the imperfection is the thing that makes you perfect. You're already whole.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. So beautiful. So yeah, those are the experiences that really marked me. And then the last one that really stands out for me, which really brought everything to full circle, was when my long-term relationship ended. And that grief that 3-year-old inside me felt got reactivated. When I had to get through that grief once again in my life. And like I said, that open loop that I never got to close got resurfaced. And I'm so grateful for this breakup because it taught me everything that I am today. It taught me that in order for me to really let go of the perfectionist mask, I had to hit a point where I burnt out. And it also taught me that if I could burn out, I could also reinvent myself. So going through that breakup was probably one of the most painful things, but also the most liberating experiences I've had. And through that, I've been able to not only heal for myself, but also support women to also heal their heart, also improve their mindset, also reconnect to their body. But every single day that we're alive, we're always experiencing new things. Those are the 3 probably significant experiences that I can say have shaped me to be the woman that I am today.
Oh, I love that. Thank you for being so honest and vulnerable and sharing so much, because I think you really do serve as a role model for people, because it takes a lot for someone to be able to go through those experiences and kind of come out of it, not just help themselves, but then get to a point where it's like, no, I want to help other people. I want to help other people.
One of the things that really drives me is making sure, or trying to do my absolute best, that people don't have to go through what I went through. That people don't have to find themselves walking out of the therapy space and feeling unseen, unheard, unsafe. And like you said, less richer.
Pardon?
And like you said, less money in their pocket.
Money. Yeah, let's talk about money. Did you have any money blocks that you had to get over?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Like I said, you know, I'm a migrant. I'm a proud migrant, and part of that is learning to live day by day, paycheck to paycheck. You know, especially coming from a third world country. As a migrant, a lot of the Latin community, and maybe I'm generalizing here, but a lot of us learn that a way to survive in a foreign country is to go towards cleaning, right? Cleaning, a very low paid job that truly lets you live day by day. So I grew up with my mum having a cleaning company, and yes, she was able to offer people opportunity and work. And because she was always, you know, business minded, which is I think how I got that, it was still very limited. Money was always limited in my household, and therapy was definitely not something we invested in. And this is partly the one of the drives that I have. How can I make therapy accessible to people that can't afford it? This is what drives my podcast, the Burnout Recovery podcast. This is what drives my ebook. This is what's driving my current book that I'm writing at the moment. How can I teach people as much as I can without them having to invest all the money that I've had to invest? Because not everyone has the luxury to invest in therapy. And I don't want that to be the reason why people can't access a new way of thinking or a new way of doing things. And Peachy, one of my life missions, my vision, is to one day be able to open free counseling centers all around the world for grieving children. Because if I had access to therapy when I was I'm getting emotional.
Yeah, cool.
Didn't expect this.
This is the best. I love this. This is how you know that it's on purpose. This is how you know that it's bang on.
If I had access to therapy when I was 3 or 4 or 5, maybe life would have been different.
maybe then I could have learned that when your parent dies, it's not because of you. It's because life had other plans for you. And
Keep talking.
oh gosh, you got me. You can say that you got me.
Where's your tissue?
Thank you. Gosh, it feels good to be on the other side. Yeah, so my life vision is really to be able to offer free counselling to grieving children so that from the age of whenever their grief happens, they can have the support and the understanding that life and death happen, but it's not something that defines you. It's not something that you're at fault with. You know, if someone had told me at 5 or at 3, I don't know if maybe I didn't understand it much back then, but if someone had looked at me as a 3-year-old and said to me, Pam, your dad loved you with all his heart, and he will always love you, and he will always protect you, and he didn't die because of you, he died because of life circumstances, and help me understand grief and the process of grief, that really would have been a whole different experience for me. And that's what I want to offer children. And that's what really drives the work that I do.
It's beautiful. You're going to make me cry, Pam. What the... No, as you're talking, I can literally see it in my mind's eye. I can see a big building that is just beautiful with lots of areas for children to play, and I can just see them all running around and being happy, even despite they've just lost one or perhaps both of their parents or whoever in their life. But because they've been able to feel those feelings and complete that memory, they can be a kid.
Yes, definitely. And that's what I want to give my little girl inside. You know, to be able to give back and to be able to help children be that playful kid that perhaps I didn't get to be.
How do I say thank you for your sacrifice in Spanish?
Gracias por tu sacrificio.
Pretend I just said that. I really look at these as sacrifices, and this, like, I'm so grateful that very early on I was able to come to this place where I could look at the life that my grandparents lived and the life that my mother lived and even the life that I lived, all those sacrifices. Because without those sacrifices, then, like, I wouldn't be here now, we wouldn't be here now, but then the people who have received the help and the people who are going to receive the help, it's like you're doing it for them, for you. It's a big sacrifice. Wearing that pain, wearing those challenges, because you're going to find a way, you've found a way to navigate them and to return the favour.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going through one of those sacrifices in this very moment. I've literally packed my bags 2 weeks ago and have moved to another state because I truly believe in what we were saying before, immersion. And really immerse yourself with the community that is going to help you to get to the next level. And to me, that sacrifice right now is for a better future for myself, for my family, and for my clients. So you can say I'm breathing that sacrifice this very moment.
I love that. And again, it's so brave to be able to do that. because there's so many reasons that you can come up with to stay in your comfort zone, to stay in what is familiar. It's so easy to stay in your comfort zone. That's why it's literally called a comfort zone. Your zone of comfort. But then anybody who's done any personal development, like even if you haven't, like what I'm about to say is going to make perfect sense. You cannot grow in your comfort zone. You cannot grow in your comfort zone. You have to get out of your comfort zone to grow.
Yeah.
And to move across state, like that's huge. It's huge. And to be in such a vibrant community, like there's something special about this place. I don't know what it is. Like I moved home a few weeks ago as well for the same reason. Like I just wanted to be in an environment that really supports who I am now and then where I'm going. And there's a big pool on this side of the world. You know, like the Gold Coast, Queensland, the land of the Queen, coast of the gold. I don't know. But it's beautiful here. And look at this.
I
like,
love that.
Did you have a view like this in Sydney?
No, absolutely not. And you know what? Coming back full circle.
Oh, yes.
When I opened the door to this place, I felt it in my heart. I knew my dad's presence was here. Because what I didn't share with you was he drowned in the ocean, saving my mum.
No way.
So when I walked into this place, I was like, I'm home, I'm connected to his presence, and I'm gonna be held by him every single day that I open my eyes and look at the ocean.
Wow, that's powerful, Pam. Holy shit.
This is why I said to you before, I'm a very, very strong believer in God. And I know that this all happened through God's presence. This is my miracle. This is my God saying to me, this is your gift for all the gifts that you give every single day.
Isn't that beautiful?
Left you lost for words, Peachy.
I just want to sit in it. I want to sit in it for a moment because it's so powerful. It's so powerful. Every time you are faced with some sort of challenge, there's two paths that you can go down. The poor me path or the how does this help me path. This has happened to me path or how has this happened for me path. Same situation, just a different perspective. And it takes real strength to be hit with challenge after challenge after challenge, but then find a way to move through it, to work through it. There's a quote I'll probably butcher it, but I saw it on TikTok like a couple of weeks ago, and it was just one of those things that really hit me. And you can probably correct me on this because you like it. Would you say you're a Christian? Is that the word?
I would say I'm Catholic.
Catholic, okay. And so, before David became king, God gave him Goliath. Is that true? Is that what happened? I don't know. Essentially, like, what I extrapolated from what I saw, they use David and Goliath as an example, but my extrapolation of that was this. For you to go to the place that you need to go, you're going to be faced with the challenge that builds the person that gets you to where you want to go. And then so when I think about that in my own life, I'm like, whenever I feel like it's really challenging, I've reframed those moments to go, I'm getting close. I'm so close. Like on one hand, I'm already there, but then on the other hand, it's like I'm so close. It's not far. And I'll give you an example, like at the Dream Out Loud method. Like I was banging all weekend, and then that final lunch break, I had a chat with Morgan about joining the inner circle, and I was triggered. I was triggered hard because I couldn't afford it, and then he triggered me because I felt like, and this is my stuff, right? But I felt like he care enough. And then it sort of put me into my head, and I'm just like, oh. And then I was sitting there when we're literally doing the beliefs and the value. No, we're doing the values, and that thing popped into my head, and I was like, this is it. Like, if there's a time that you can be triggered for a deep wound, it's right now. It's right now. And then it's like, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to sit here and stay in your head? Or are you just going to let it be there and keep moving forward? Find a way to keep moving forward. Don't let that bullshit overtake you. Find a way to keep moving forward. And I went to this meditation retreat on Kangaroo Island, which is just off the coast of South Australia, a few weeks ago. And one of the facilitators there told me this story. We did a massive meditation around the heart, and it was beautiful. It was like a 20-30 minute meditation, and I tapped into some grief. And one of the things that because at the end of it, I was just going to sit in it myself, but then he said, if something's come up or whatever, like, I'm going to stick around, and if you want to talk about something, then we can. And then I wasn't going to do it, but then I was like, bro, you've done all this work. Like, part of this journey is being able to receive, and not knowing that you don't have to do it on your own. Yes, there is strength in being independent and having the skills to do stuff, but then on the same breath, it's absolutely okay to receive. And just because you're sharing this pain with someone doesn't make you weak. It actually makes you strong. It doesn't mean that you share everything with everyone all the time and use that as an excuse to stay where you are. But it's just using your own common sense. And so in that moment, I was like, do you know what? I could do this on my own, but I'm going to share this pain. And I had a chat to him. And he shares this amazing story about, imagine you have a tree. And then on this branch, you've got a bird. And that bird is going nuts. He's squawking, he's flapping his wings, he's rah, 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 rah. And then you've got another branch. And this bird is calm, chilling, no problem, nowhere to be. Imagine that you are this tree with two birds inside of you, and become the second bird. Don't change the first bird. Let that bird be. Let him flop around, let him squawk, let him do it all. But rest your presence in that second bird without any desire to change that bird, the only desire to let that bird be. And then so combining those two things was super powerful, because it means that in that moment, it's like you recognize that you're triggered, you recognize that you're getting in your head. In real time, you recognize that it is how you move through these challenges, integration, that are the things that make you. And then to complete that loop, it's like not trying to change it at the same time. Not trying to go, why do I feel like this? I shouldn't feel like this. It's like, no, man, it's cool. You do your thing, I'm going to do mine. And then before you know it, it fucking disappears. Because your body digests it. Because that's the reality of it. It's like that little bird. It's like it's just chemicals. It just needs to be digested. And it's again like and you could apply that same concept, and you could just call it your inner child. You could just call that crazy bird your inner child, and just be like, oh, little Peach. Oh, he's thinking he's not good enough again. Bless his heart. Why wouldn't you think that with the stuff that you've been through? Some compassion for you. But now some duties also. Push forward.
That's so beautiful. That I really can visualize that. And I love that the example is that we are the tree. We are rooted, to this earth. And yes, we're going to have those two birds, but it's about embracing them and integrating them as it all being part of us. It's like emotions. Like I said to you when we first, did our first training together, we spend so much of our time running away from our emotions. and believing this illusion that there's good and bad emotions, when the reality is emotions are just emotions.
Yes.
It's the behavior that we attach to it that can become problematic. But when you allow yourself to fully just connect to the emotion, label the emotion, sit with the emotion, and let it pass, you will really learn that every single emotion serves a purpose, but it's not neither good or bad. It's just an emotion.
I love that. I love that. I love that. This is something I teach in my breathwork events, is that same concept, and I'll talk about it for like 20 minutes because it's such an important thing to bring perspective to. What's an emotion? It's a feeling. What's a feeling? It's a vibration. What's a vibration? It's not good or bad. It just is. And it exists on a scale. It's not a linear scale, but it's acknowledging that we've attached meaning to a vibration. And positive vibrations are the things that are, people would describe as easy to feel. They make you feel nice. You'd say that makes you feel nice. And then the negative emotions, it's like they're the ones that people say make you feel bad. But they're not good or bad. They just literally exist. And they have meanings if we give them meanings. Often it's just clues. It's just information. It's like a compass. It's like, but how would we exist as humans if we didn't have those? Because ultimately, like those things that bring us joy, you could argue that they're the things that are trying to catch our attention. And the things that make us feel grief, it's like, of course, you've lost something that is important to you. Like, of course you feel grief. Or shame. It's like you're shameful about something that you did. Of course you feel shameful. It's because your body's trying to point you on a direction where you are in alignment. If you didn't have these emotions, how would you know where you want to go? And so again, it's like there's instead of attaching the meaning of good or bad, what if it's just information? What if it's just data? What if they're just clues that are trying to point you back on this path? Because you come back to before, it's like our hearts have neurons, our guts have neurons. It's all receiving information. We are 95% subconscious beings. Some would argue 99%. And so what does that mean? It means this body that we're in, the body. We've spoken about this the whole time, the body. The body that we're in is so much smarter than the thing that's talking with us right now.
Yeah, and I think that that's something that a lot of people are not aware of, how much of our existence is unconscious. And this is why it's important to come back to what are the roots of my presentation, not the symptoms. What is actually underneath all of this? Heal the root, heal the tree.
I love that. We're going to have a bathroom break because I'm going to wee myself. Okay, so we're back on. So you shared some experiences that were big challenges for you that you've had to work through. Do you think is there anything else in your life that you've overcome that you think people could extrapolate some lessons from?
Very good question. Oh, yes. Definitely have one thing to say. And
you can just pull it if you want. Like, just pull the... Yeah. Oh, okay.
I'll just leave it. Is that good?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Okay, so one really important lesson that I experienced early on is people will try to dim your light. So not everyone, but some people will. And it's important that you remember that it's not about you. It's about what's living within themselves. So to give you an example, I've always been very passionate. I think that's just part of my DNA. So I've always been very passionate about mental health and bringing the humanness back into the therapy space. And because of that passion,
I always did a little extra, that 10% extra, which is something that really came through because I loved what I was doing. Very early on in my career, though, I learned how that light can intimidate people. And sometimes people, not because they're bad or because they don't have goodness in their heart, but they will let that drive them. And early in my career, I don't know if I shared this before, but I was nominated for Employee of the Month for New South Wales Health in the mental health space, which was a significant achievement at the age of 27.
Wow.
Like, I was up against people that had been in the mental health sector for 20 years plus. And to get there, obviously there was a lot of sacrifices like we were talking about. But one of the things that I experienced was workplace bullying. And now I can actually say it for what it was, even though at the time I didn't want to admit it. And I still remember very vividly experiencing a situation where one of my colleagues was essentially look, I think to bring it back to triggers, the triggers that are living inside of us are just little whispers that we have to work through. And why that's important in what I'm going to share next is no one makes you feel anything that isn't already there. So at the time, I thought, I'm getting bullied. She's triggering me. I went into that victimhood of, why is this happening to me? I just want to perform. I just want to do good. And it's so easy for us to get into this victimhood mentality that at the time I was like, I couldn't see what the lesson was in this. But through that workplace bullying, I decided to leave. I decided, you know what? This space is not going to change. The radical responsibility I can take here is to leave. And thanks to that experience, it's what pushed me to open Beyond Purpose Therapy and really go into that private practice space because, one, I wanted my clients to feel that they are humans and that a human really cares. And two, because I promised myself when I walked away from my stable job that I was going to do whatever it took to change the mental health space. But if it wasn't for that bullying experience, I wouldn't have been able to take the jump. So every single experience in your life is teaching you something. Sometimes you've just got to pause and truly listen to, why is this happening for me as opposed to me? So why I'm sharing this is because when you're starting out in your career, or when you're, when you've got that passion behind you, that light, that very same light can intimidate people, the wrong people, but it can also be the source of your greatness. So don't let age define you. Don't let your situation define you. Don't let your qualifications or education define you. If you have a purpose and you have a passion and you have the drive, go all in, because miracles can happen.
I love that. It's often those things that feel like they're big, that's the direction that we have to go, or the challenges that feel like they're the biggest for us. It's like overcoming them is the very thing that is going to get us to where we need to go. So I absolutely love that. As we veer towards the end of this podcast, what do you want to leave people with?
I want to leave them with the seed that you are worthy of being loved. You are good enough just as you are. And through integration of the mind, body, and heart, you can truly live your best life. And it doesn't have to take you years. It just has to take the right approach, the right attitude, and the right community.
I love that. I love that. Is there anything else that you want to share? Anything else that you want to say?
Everything that happens to your life happens for a reason. And it's okay to not be okay. It's important that you remind yourself that you're not alone, because someone out there is always willing to hold you. It's okay to ask for help, and don't ever dim your light for anyone. Go and be that diamond that was created through your hardship, and go and shine your brightness to the world.
I love that. I love it. Pam, thank you so much. It's such a phenomenal conversation. I'm so grateful that we've shared 3 personal development events together now. And it's like catching up with an old friend. At Dream Out Loud, it's like, oh, man. And it's good fun.
Yes.
It's good fun. So thank you so much. Thank you for being so honest, vulnerable, and giving so many amazing skills and tools that people can literally implement right now. And don't try and do too much. Like, even if you just pick one thing, you pick one thing that Pam has said today, and if you just focus on implementing that, then you will notice a shift.
Thank you. Thank you so much for giving me this space, giving me the opportunity to share my message, and most importantly, for holding the space for me to also be raw and be held by your presence. So thank you so much.
My pleasure, Pam. Thank you. Oh, that was so good, Pam. Well done.
Thank you.
Amazing. ESP higher?
Yes, PIN.
Hi. Beautiful. I'll give you another weekend.
Yeah.
You want to see a quick sneak peek of my podcast night later this week? I'll just show you because it's open and it's fucking hilarious.
Definitely.
So this is one of my mates who, he's not like an expert in a field like you, he's just like, we just have good chats.
Everyone has magic to share.
Would you believe me if I told you that I just went to short my mustache?
I used to look like that. I used to have this mustache for like 7 years. It was part of my whole fucking personality. That was one of the reasons I got rid of it. Because I was looking in the mirror and I was like, who are you without your mustache?
Would you believe me if I told you that I just went to short my mustache? Even now, most of my habits from when I chop my hair,
This is my home bathroom.
the hardest thing for me was getting out of the shower. I'd pull my hair forward and go wrap my hair up. That's what I used to do. Do you do that?
That's really clear. Is that the iPhone?
That's that.
What?
That's an iPhone XS.
Oh,
That's like 10 years old, that iPhone.
that's really clear.
I know. Like, we don't need much at all. Like, even this is excessive. Like, this is more show than it is like a need.
Can we see what it looks like?
Yeah.